friend, you've probably spent years cultivating your piano playing, but it still feels like your playing is lacking beauty and spice. You'll find that since many of the Piano Players Coaching Group classes are live and interactive, you can get your questions answered and find something new to learn every week. These weekly classes and coaching sessions will allow you to play live or send in videos so that you are given specific tips on what you need to work on next. So get inspired because it's time to boost your confidence by mastering fills and chords, learning how to flow when playing songs. Shake off that fear of playing by ear or playing in all keys. You can search through the coaching group database of lessons to find the specific areas you want to work on. There's no getting behind or keeping up. You follow the learning path you want. That sounds amazing to me. You'll find this group of mostly women to be your virtual besties. We're all in the same boat, face the same struggles, and find ways to push through. There's nothing more inspiring than that. So make sure you get on the wait list because it opens soon. I'm here cheering you on, pianoplayerscoaching.com. Hi guys, I'm hopping on to do a What's Your Question live Q&A. I printed out some questions that you guys submitted today. If you have any questions live right now, I'd be happy to answer those as well. We're talking about anything related to music, ministry, playing the piano. I have a really annoying cough today, so I'm going to try my best not to cough. Hey Hannah, hey Savannah, hey you guys, thanks for joining. Okay, so the first question is how to start inserting new music and styles into a church who is in a rut of hymns, etc. So, one option that you may use is to combine a modern song with an old hymns style song. So, if you did a song like Healer, I believe you're my healer, and then maybe on the end of that you sort of went into maybe like He is here, or He touched me, oh He touched me, something like that, to kind of combine those two. I have sort of been in this situation before, and I find that people tend to be pretty receptive to new styles of music. One of the ways you may think of introducing it is through a youth music team. So if you have a youth group that's doing songs, or a kids choir, this is a great opportunity to introduce those new songs because it's sort of a soft approach to the church, and people get really excited about their kids getting involved in worship. And so if it's children's ministry or youth ministry, then that's always a great option. Okay, the next question from Riley Burns. For fast songs, could you recommend any good non-monotonous rhythms? So I'm going to try to answer this question as I understand it. If you are not enrolled in the At Your Own Pace course, or if you are not in the Piano Players Coaching Group, I would recommend that, depending on your skill level, that you enroll in one of those. Our coaching group is opening in just a few weeks, and I'm super excited about it because we've revamped it for you guys. But non-monotonous rhythms are going to depend on how you play certain things. So, for example, I can teach you the vamp for He Made the Difference, but that style vamp, those syncopations, you're going to maybe use some of those techniques, but they're going to look different on a song like My Soul Says Yes, something else that's upbeat, or like You Are Jehovah. You can use the vamp chords to play You Are Jehovah as well. So if you feel stuck and rusty on fast songs, then I do recommend that you join the Piano Players Coaching Group. The wait list is open right now, and you can get on the wait list at pianoplayerscoaching.com. Okay, what are some tips for creating good background music? Now, we did a background music class several months ago, maybe even a year ago. And my tips for background music are to make sure that whatever you're playing is not recognizable, because you don't want people to be so focused on what you're playing that it takes their attention away from the speaker or the preacher or the announcement giver, whoever is up front. Okay, so you may be playing the chords of a song, but not in a way where people will recognize them. Once you start playing by number, it makes this really easy because you're thinking less about, oh, I need chords to play, and you're thinking more about, oh, there's only basically seven ish chords in a song, although you can add more, and you're playing around with those chords. So those are the tips I would have for background music. And if you don't play by number, I would highly recommend that you join the At Your Own Pace lessons and start learning to play by number, or if you already play the piano and you play in church, join the piano players coaching group, and that'll help out. Okay, what do you practice when you aren't practicing a new song? Well, you can always play songs that you know. Practice is not always learning something new. I'm a big fan of just sitting down at the keyboard and playing songs that you like. It feels like we do a lot of new songs. We learn about at least 3 a month, so it feels like we're always practicing new songs. If I'm not learning a new song, I try to go back to songs that are scheduled for service and really fine-tune those songs. So maybe I've played You Are Jehovah before, but I'm listening back through it and I hear, oh, there's a really fancy piano run that I've never done. I'll try to learn that piano run because I'm applying it to a song we're doing in church, which is great because that means I'm going to use that run. If you guys are like me, I don't ever play a song exactly like the recording the first time I play it. I'll go back and listen and think, oh man, I never heard that progression, or I never heard that little run. And so it feels like every time you listen, it's fresh. So just freshen up the songs that you already play. Okay, what are some of your practice techniques? When I'm practicing, I try to make sure I'm not cheating. So if there is a C11 chord or a G7 sharp 5 sharp 9 chord, if I'm practicing, I'm not trying to fake it through that chord. I want to actually figure out what the chord is, take the time, spell it out, find a voicing that sounds really good, and start using that in the song. I love to live by the rule of setting a timer for 15 minutes and practicing at least 3 days a week. I find that to be manageable for my time schedule and my mind, and also it does produce results. So those are the tips I have for you. Do you have any tips for teaching parts? How many of you guys have to teach parts to your team? So my tips for teaching parts is, I do have a YouTube video, old video, about teaching parts. I probably need to redo that, but your parts are going to be based around the chords that you are playing. Okay? And so, for example, we'll just say, if we're in the key of C, or we're on a C chord, and the sopranos have G, which is the top note of G, then more than likely your altos are singing E, and your tenors are going to sing C. So it's going to match the chord that you are on. And then, you know, if they flip, then you change inversions. Sopranos would go to C, altos would go to G, tenors would go to E. When we teach songs, I like to go into rehearsal and really know the song. There's no really downtime or room to stop and figure out anything. I try to go in super prepared, and it gives the team more confidence. If you find that your vocal team is unsure and they're unsteady when it comes to rehearsal, it's probably, I hate to say this, but I've been there, so I can say it's probably because of the leader. The leader's probably making them nervous or unsure. So if you are in charge, just make sure you go in confident, teach the same thing consistently over and over until they get it, and your team will probably catch on pretty quick. Okay, what can I do to perfect my add-ins and runs in between chords? So anytime you are working on fine-tuning something, I highly recommend slowing it down. You always want to make sure that you're practicing with some type of metronome or drum loop, no matter what. Every time you practice, make sure you're practicing with a steady rhythm. Why? Because it allows you to play in the parameters of rhythm, which is what makes you sound amazing. Okay, so I've showed you guys before on lives how I'm playing super simple chords, but it sounds like, wow, you know, it sounds really good, not because anything I'm doing is super complicated, but because it's in such perfect rhythm and fits so well in the song that it sounds like I'm doing something more than I am. So if you are practicing a song, say it's 100 beats a minute, and you're trying to really fine tune a fill in or run, I would slow it down. Whatever you feel is slow enough for you to really get it. If that's 70 beats a minute, practice it that slow, and then gradually speed it up to 75 or 80 or 90 beats a minute until you can practice it at the original tempo. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to go even faster than the original tempo. So if a song is 100 beats a minute, speed it up to like 110 and play that run, because then when you slow it back down, it seems like this is so crazy easy to play because you've been playing it so fast. And that simplifies it for me. Okay, I really want to learn how to play shout music, but not sure where to start. You need to join the Piano Players Coaching Group. We have been talking about shout beats and shout music. In fact, our September lesson is all about shout beats, and that's when enrollment will be open. pianoplayerscoaching.com. You do want to get in there and make sure that you are in the coaching group. Shout music seems to be a point of contention for a lot of people, and it's really not that difficult once it's broken down. So it's just a lot of the things you're doing on shout music are just faster versions of what you do in slow music. Okay. Another question, how can I learn the number system when all I've been taught is chords? Great question. So the first thing I would recommend is memorizing your scales. That's going to seem very painful, probably, especially if you already play. But taking the time to memorize your scales, know the numbers of the scales. If I say, what's the 6 of E flat, you should be able to say C just like that. What's the 2 of B flat, C. What's the 4 of E flat, A flat. You should know it that quick, because when you're playing, that's how quickly you have to know it, okay? We are in the process of training a lot of new young musicians right now, and I start them off on the number system immediately. And a lot of times they are lost in the beginning, which is normal, because when you're trying to learn something new, it doesn't always come natural in the beginning until you've practiced and practiced and practiced. So just take the time to do that. Maybe transpose chord charts you already have into numbers, print them out, and that way when you're playing, you can start to kind of retrain your brain, if you will. So if there's a song that you know really well that you play for service, print it out in numbers and use that chord chart to play, and then start getting yourself more and more familiar with playing by number. Okay, last question. What is the difference in stem and charts when ordering music? Okay, I can tell you what a stem is. A stem is basically let's see, how do I describe a stem without saying stem? So we use an app called Prime. It's made by Loop Community. We go to loopcommunity.com to purchase all of our stems. That's just what's easy for us. I know some other people use Ableton. We're just not that fancy yet. But what it does is it basically has all of your instruments broken down into different channels. So it's like its own mixer. It'll have keyboard, it'll have strings, it may have pad sounds, it'll have acoustic guitar, electric guitar 1, electric guitar 2, percussions, all kinds of things that are in the final recording of a song, like a William McDowell song. You hear all this fancy stuff behind the scenes. It's going to have all of those instruments in there. You can turn on and off what you want. So if you have a keyboard and drums and bass and organ, you can turn that off, leave everything else on, and it's just like it's a support system. So your stems are going to have a click that goes through one channel, which is not broadcast in the house, but it's going to keep the whole band on track. And also there are cues on the track to tell you verse, and he'll count it on verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you know you're going to the verse. So we love to play with it. Anytime you're implementing something new like this, set your expectations where you are making sure to take time behind the scenes to spend a lot of time with your team on this. We find the people that need to really know stems like the back of their hand are the musicians, the band leader, the choir director, and the worship leaders. pretty much your praise and worship singers are okay. They're following the worship leader. So as long as the worship leader knows what they're doing, they can follow. If you want to share it with your praise team, that's fine. As far as charts, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to if you're comparing stems and charts. Now, if you're talking about chord charts, that's something different, but I have a feeling that's not what this question is asking. So I can tell you what stems are. If you're asking about chord charts, they're just going to have like C chord, G chord, F chord above the lyrics. If this chart's about something else, you guys are going to have to tell me because I have no idea. All right. If you play the piano, if you're in charge of a music department and you either feel stuck in your playing or you want to learn how to play by number, you want to learn better how to play by ear, make sure that you join the Piano Players Coaching Group. That the wait list is open right now. It does open in, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks. So make sure you get your name on the wait list, pianoplayerscoaching.com. Please send that info to someone that you think would be interested. This group only opens twice a year because we like to take our time to focus on the students in the group. So when it opens, you do want to get in because it's only going to be open for 4 days this year. That's it. This is the only time it's going to be open. All right, you guys, if nobody's told you today, I believe in you. You have what it takes to be an incredible leader, an incredible musician. Don't second guess yourself. Believe in the calling that God has placed on your life. I'm here to help you. If you have any questions, please make sure that you reach out to me. I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.